Hello and welcome back to my channel and to this video, which is gonna be about how to use water-based markers in your coloring books. I actually did one quite recently with Staedtler felt tip pens and Stabilo felt tip pens and what is the name? The Faber-Castell pit pens, and they can be blendable to a certain level, but as you know, if you watched that video, that was how my passion for coloring books started. I thought it was really fun to use felt tip pens in my books, but after some time I started to feel that I wanted to blend more and to do better gradients and to use colors that not always was so extremely bright that most felt tip pens are. So on my search I started to try these pens out. I think I started with these Tombows. I don't know exactly how these are different from the Stabilo, except for that all of these have brush tips, different kind of brush tips. But I like to call these watercolor pens because you can use some watercolor paper for great watercolor effect. That is more difficult in the books, but it is possible if you do some tricks. I also bought some of these kois, but I didn't really like the tip of these ones. Although I don't think they have as much colors, but I know people that prefer this pen because it's quite short compared to the very big Tombow. The Tombow has one side with a smaller tip and one with a brush tip. Actually, I don't like this fine liner tip, so I just use the brush tip. So from the start I preferred the Tombows when I started to try these little more blendable pens out. But I also tried some SIG Clean Color Wheel Brush, which have an actual brush tip. It's actually a brush. From start, when I started to color, I thought that brush tips was really more difficult than felt tip pens. I didn't get the same control, I thought, and I thought these were even more difficult to use because, I mean, this tip, it's where it is, but this can be, you have to have much ease, you have to press less hard, and if you want to color very small areas you have to just use the little brush tips on the edge. So I thought this was more difficult from start to use. I think Tombow has a little bit more colors than the SIGs, but I decided somehow that I wanted to collect the SIGs because when I started to get used to it, I really liked that tip. So I don't have full set of the Tombows, but I have some. These are some cheaper brands, and I have a set, not full set, but I have a set with kois that I bought on a sale some time ago. I've not used them very much, but I have them, and they all, except for the tip and except for the color range, they can be used exactly the same in the books. And I'm gonna show you, I have done a video before with how I use this, but it's without me speaking, and it's also without music because I had to take that away. So yeah, let's do a new video. Usually I use my US copy of Ivy on the Inky Butterfly when I do my test things, but this book don't work with water. At least I think it works very, very bad. I tried here to do the same way I usually do with my markers with this, but it didn't work. So instead I'm gonna do this video and show you on the back of the US copy of World of Flowers, because then I thought that if it's become ugly I can just fold it back and I don't have to see it. So the thing is, you want to blend the colors together and get gradients. Now in some books you actually can do it directly in the book, but in most books you can't, because the color gets into the paper and dries very, very quick. This is maybe a bit more slippery, I'm gonna see. Now, as you see, you can't blend it out very good. If I add the color and then go on top with water, it won't move the color around very much. It's already stuck into the paper. So there is some tips that you can do. You can use something made of metallic or plastic. I'm going to use the lid of Stabilo Aquacolor, which I now use as storing for some of my, all of my luminals. I'm going to use that as a palette. You can of course use a plate or a old CD record or a regular palette or something. Let's take 2 colors of green. So this is yellow green and this is olive green. Let's try those. Okay, now I have to think, which way do I do this? So yes, you can use this as a palette and put some color down there. And and then take your water brush or regular brush with water and pick up the color. And color with it. Then it's gonna be lighter because you have water in it than if you just add it directly on the paper. As you see, I could use it for a lot of petals. So you can let it dry and then you can take the darker color from the palette and add it. Now I'm doing it although it has not dried yet. So that is one way. You can also do it like this. You add the darker color on the palette, then you take your lighter pen and smoosh it around in the darker color. And now when you're gonna color with it, you have to start where you're gonna make it darkest. And then it will be lighter. Now I added a lot of dark to this. Let's see if I don't take as much dark, just a little bit. Then you can see you get a color variation. You get a shading on that petal. What you also can do is to take the darker pen. And put it on top of the lighter pen and let the tips come together and let the darker color go into the lighter pen. So when you are coloring with it, you have to start where you want it to be darkest, and then it becomes lighter as you go. And another tip is to use the water, one layer of water on the page, and then add color, and then the water again. This doesn't work on every page, in all the books, but in some books this can work well. So if you just have some water on top of the petal, you have more time to pull it out. It didn't work very well in this book. I know I have tried it in some Hanna Karlzon book and it worked better. You can also do like this. You take the lighter color and then you put in some of the darker color on top, and then you use the lighter color again to blend it together. That didn't work very well here either. It did work in the Hanna Karlzon book where I tried it before. But that can be a way. If you just do one layer of a soft, the lighter color or water, it can be more easy to pull it out with water or the lighter pen. So it's not that easy to, yeah, I mean, you can just color in the books like this and fill the areas in, but it's then it's not going to be color variation or gradients. And now I'm going to switch to the Tombow. Yeah, I'm going to try, maybe this will work better. No, it's the same. It's the same. So let's see what happens if I use the Tombow, the darker, and then going in with the lighter, picking up the color, starts where I want it to be darkest. I don't think the color variation was too big between these two, but it do work. And I'm gonna try the kois as well. It should be the same. It should be the same. So let's see if I take the darker on top of the lighter. And then starts where I want it to be the darkest. Oh, this was very dark. Oops. This was very, very, very dark. I think now it starts to become lighter again. So, okay. Don't use too much of the darker color. And I will try to blend it out. Actually, I'm gonna try another color just to show it better. No, you can't pull that out on this page either. As I said, on some pages with some glidey paper, you can do it. You can do like this, just put in color and pull it around. But in most coloring books you can't. So what's happening if I put in a little bit of this burgundy, the palette? Now I'm going to try to pick up just a little bit. Okay, now it was too little. Now maybe. There's also one other way, and that is to take your water brush or your brush and take color directly from the tip. And use it like watercolor. And in most books, these kind of pens don't bleed through, but of course you can always try on some small area or in the back of the book to be sure. Thank you so much for watching and see you later!